Welcome back to my garage. Previously we did some stinger testing. Well, actually we didn't do much testing because we forgot to do the baseline, put in a 16mm stinger, and on the first run we saw 27.5 horsepower and EGT around 600 degrees Celsius. That's like 1100, 1150, something like that in Fahrenheit, which means we're close to the spot. Both horsepower and EGT dropped in the two subsequent runs. So we saw a run with around 300 degrees EGT and 25 horsepower, and then it jumped up to 26 horsepower and 400 degrees. But still, well, this indicates it's running too rich, and it was getting more and more hard to get into the power band, even though I didn't show that in the video. But that indicates, well, it's definitely running too rich. I was gonna try more stingers, but it seems to be in a good spot stinger wise, and also theory tells me that it's probably good. Could be a little bit larger for like extended periods of runtime. But then again, when we're going to Bonneville, elevation will be much higher and we need to use a tighter stinger. 300 degrees of exhaust time to go. Couldn't rev it?
It's never passed 15,000.
And if you try to...
No, I have a flat throttle.
Oh, so you can give it full now.
Full throttle, but 15,000.
And it won't rev past that. There's still 300 more to go. Like 250s should be power, but safe.
Stuck at 14,000 RPM.
Stuck down there?
Yeah.
Today the plan was to do the logically next step, which is fueling. Start leaning out the main jet and see if we can hit the sweet spot there. But I've seen more and more smoke developing around the pipe, and when I got out here today, I noticed the pipe has started to crack here and here and here, and it's getting worse. So we'll need to weld this up before we can do anything, and we'll need to brace the pipe better. I used to have a mount here mounted to like brace from here to here. That's how it's meant to be in the bike, but the mount cracked off, and after that I thought, well, maybe it's just fine for testing, but it's not supported well enough and it cracks. So fix the pipe and the mount. That's the plan for today. This video is sponsored by someone who I consider a good old friend now, NordVPN. So NordVPN keeps you safe on the internet by creating an encrypted tunnel so nobody can spy on you and steal your data and personal information. And that's becoming increasingly more important now with how complicated everything has become on the internet and how much stuff is connected to it. And also with how much information you're putting on the internet, and just how curious and intrusive Big Brother has become lately. NordVPN is just super easy and seamless. You pretty much just download the app and press one button and you're connected to the VPN. And it comes with threat protection, which protects you from malware and phishing attacks, and well, just protects you from the naughty stuff out there. There's even a dark web scanner to see if your information has been leaked, if data has been breached and your info is leaked, and so that you can take action and change your passwords and stuff. Over 5,000 servers all around the world, which means you can pretend to be from anywhere. And that's great for getting access to stuff that's not available where you're currently at, if that's home or if you're traveling. And it's super fast, you won't notice a difference. This is a specific case, but say you want to play an online game and the servers are in a different continent. It's actually faster for me to use NordVPN, connect to a server on that continent, and then connect to the gaming server versus directly from here. NordVPN is especially useful and pretty much crucial on public Wi-Fi. Say on an airplane. On an airplane there's no reception. So if say somebody were to set up their own Wi-Fi hotspot called airplane Wi-Fi, then pretty much everyone would want to connect to that Wi-Fi. Definitely if it was open and free. Siphon all the information from everyone into your own hotspot. Well, somebody's hotspot. Head to nordvpn.com/twostrokestuffing for a great deal, and it's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Yet again, thank you, NordVPN. Please excuse the noise again. I'm gonna turn on the heater because freezing cold. Still freezing cold here in the great north. I don't think my EGT probe will last much longer. Insulation is going. Well, the wires are still fine. If I pop this better, I think it'll still be fine. So, do I want to TIG this or laser weld this? There might be some dirt in there. I think the laser is easier to, and I can have it weave kind of broad to. I think I want to try the laser first. It's so hard to see the cracks here, so I'm going to mark them with, hopefully this won't interfere too much with the welding. Okay, let's fire up the laser welder. I've been struggling a lot for many months now with super dry eyes, and I have a suspicion this is what started it, now that I think about it. I've never, might be just age, but it's something to keep in mind. Maybe the glasses aren't as good as they should be. The protective glasses. Welding, confirm, and we want to do carbon steel, 1 millimeter. Yep, swing width 3, 50, 80. I think that's good. And we want to do wire feed. We want to purge some gas. 15 millimeters a second. We'll do a little test piece and then we'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot to press record, so I'll have to do a little test thing again. But I have a 20 millimeter a second wire feed, and it's set to 1 millimeter steel and 3 millimeter swing width. And that seems to be a good setting for what we're doing here. Okay, so first let's do the straight stretch here. That. That. Et voila! Clean off those little end points where there's bits of wire still left. Like that. I think I'm gonna see if I can lure somebody who's better at building pipes to build me maybe 1 or 2 of these to have spares, and it'll probably be a little bit better even. It's better on the inside than this. Like, it looks good on the inside, but some of my welds were good, like here, really good. Some places where the fit up wasn't perfect, not as good, of course. So unfortunately I haven't got more EGT probes, so I need to go grab some. And the ones I've been using, they're expensive. But this one does work, and it still works even though it ripped out of the bolt. But the junction is fine and the wires are fine. So what I need to do now is epoxy this back in place. I used some kind of an oven putty earlier. I think I want to try this high heat JB Weld now. It's not meant for this, like the exhaust gas high heat, but it's but I think it'll be fine, as it'll be in contact with the exhaust pipe wall and not the gases directly, mostly. You should definitely wear gloves for mixing this, but I didn't have any gloves. I'm gonna cut this in half and do that cure later. Okay. This is hard. Does it still work? Yep. Still reading. Good. Okay, that'll have to sit and cure for a good while. Brake cleaner. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, now to wait for that EGT probe to cure. So that's it for this video, I guess, because I have to wait for the EGT probe to cure. But fear not, that'll be tomorrow morning. And I have time tomorrow morning. So hang tight. Hang tight. See you next time.